This here is a buck converter, and I'm using it on my self-made breadboard to step down the voltage from 12 volts to whatever I choose. Now, you may be asking, why buck converter? See, there are two types of voltage regulators: linear regulators and step-down converters. Linear regulators are super simple to use. However, they step down the voltage by burning off all the excess energy as heat, which isn't ideal. Step-down or buck converters can have theoretically 100% efficiency. But how do they work? Well, let's build the simplest buck converter we can have. The first step is this over here. This switch will turn on and off very quickly, allowing current to flow only when it's turned on, creating this sort of square wave. Now, you'll realize this is not DC voltage. So, to transform this into a smooth constant curve, what we will do is add a few components. First, let's add a capacitor. What will happen now is that when the switch is on, the capacitor will charge such that when the switch turns off, the capacitor will release all of its charge, maintaining the voltage and not allowing it to drop suddenly. However, there is still a noticeable drop. That is why we have to add this inductor over here. The inductor opposes the flow of current. Now, when the switch is off, the inductor will oppose this sudden change, which is exactly what we need. You'll notice though that when turned off, the inductor is not part of the circuit anymore, which is why we finally add this diode over here, making our buck converter. This over here is just a fancy version of this circuit, but if you want to learn how it fits on my system, follow along for more.